Trey, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can.
Perfect. All right, questions for Trey Smith. We'll start with Rob Lewis.
Trey, obviously you guys have had some guys in and out of the lineup with various injuries. How beneficial was the open week to getting everybody back and maybe building some continuity for this back half of the season?
Yeah, your bye week, your open week is really important, not only for sort of like team development, but also for recovery. As a player, it's a great opportunity if you are banged up and bruised up to get the proper rest and time you need off. So anything that can make the team healthy, it helps us a lot.
David Pascal.
Trey, when you think about this unique season, I mean, the first 5 teams you've played, you guys play every year, so you're very familiar with the personnel. How is this different, seeing how Tennessee and Arkansas, they used to play every year, but it's been a while?
In terms of another SEC West team, it's always an interesting thing because, like you said, we're not familiar with them. At least personally, I'm not. It was my first time playing Arkansas. It's my only time playing them. But, at the end of the day, everyone in the SEC is pretty similar. You're going to have the insane athletes at the position, especially like defensive line. You're always going to have that freak of the week. You're always going to have a guy that you have to be prepared for. And, defensively, a lot of the schemes that they run is similar to a lot of our opponents, including Missouri. Their scheme is very similar because, their defensive coordinators have a lot of connections in the past.
Thank you.
Gustavo, then Blake.
Trey, what do you thought the development of the offensive line during this off week? How do you see the chance of you guys have have more practice and more development in the offensive line?
Yeah, this week was a perfect opportunity for a lot of the younger guys and, guys who don't play as much to get an opportunity to present their skills and present their abilities. And I think a lot of guys definitely shine through this week. But it's a great opportunity for, like I said earlier, a lot of players who don't get the proper reps that they need to present their abilities on a grand stage in front of the coaches.
Trey, how would you evaluate where this team's at through 5 games, and what areas do you think need to improve here in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I'm not really a master evaluator. I'll just leave that to the coaches. Obviously, it's not where we want to be, but in terms of progression, we just have to keep fighting, keep chopping. In the day, like the Maxon says, put on more steam. We just got to keep going. Regardless of what's happening, we're going to fight every opponent like it's our last.
Brent Hubbs, then Luis Fernandez.
Trey, Coach Pruitt had praise for the leadership on this team and how the leadership has gone this year as a veteran senior guy on this team. What's been your message to your team the last couple of weeks, and how have you specifically led your team to get ready for the back half of this season?
I just think it's more of a commitment thing. Just seeing where a lot of guys are mentally, especially after a loss or something like that. Challenging them that we have to come back, we got to respond. At the end of the day, this game is not based on sympathy. No one's going to feel bad for you. No one's going to feel sorry for you. You have to come to work every day. You have to be prepared every day. At the end of the day, when that clock hits and it's time to go on that field, it's business time. And that's one thing we have to take it serious. This is a business right now. We have to do a better job of that, protecting Neyland Stadium and doing our job every week, every Saturday, and playing to the highest level with the best effort and the best ability that we can.
Luis?
Trey, tomorrow is election day, and with all the work that you've put in over the past, few months, especially, how important is a day like tomorrow for you? And have you and the team been talking about what something like that means at all?
Yeah, I know it's a big deal. Obviously, I've already voted. We actually had an opportunity to vote earlier this week, and we actually have another opportunity tomorrow. But you talk about the right to vote in this country is something that my ancestors and people that look like me died for that right. And a lot of people have died for the right to vote. So in a way, I think it's really selfish and embarrassing that if you are a person and you indeed have the ability to vote, you don't vote, that's pretty embarrassing thinking about people who've died for that right. So, but for me, I think it's a great opportunity to, just basically do what we're supposed to do. In this society, we're supposed to play our role, vote, go out there. But, given the opportunity that tomorrow, we have the opportunity as a team, and anyone who feels like they need to go out and vote. I mean, that's an amazing thing. I think it's something that's always should have been in effect. It shouldn't have come up to this year, but, it's a great thing.
We'll go to Patrick Brown.
Trey, you said coming into the season that you had a lot that you wanted to prove. How do you feel like you've done in that regard? And, you asked earlier about evaluating the team. How would you evaluate how you have played or how you played during the first half of the season?
Yeah, I don't think I played well in terms of like me playing to my abilities. I don't think I've really scratched the surface of it yet, which is frustrating. There are a lot of things I can do better. Like I said, it's a game ain't based on sympathy. You got to bring it every week. At the end of the day, I have to bring it every week and step my game up every week, which I feel like I've progressed finally. But to be where I want to be, I still have ways to go.
Rob Lewis.
Trey, just what would you say was the biggest priority or focus for the offensive line headed into the open week? One area where you guys really wanted to get better and make some strides?
Fundamentally and finish. One thing you always want to do as offensive line is, you can harp on great fundamentals. You can harp on playing with perfect and technique and proper execution. But at the end of the day, man, if you're trying to finish someone through the ground on their necks, it's going to clean up a lot of room for the errors. So I think that's one thing Coach Friend preached to us, low drive finish, get after guys and really sustaining finishing blocks.
Back to David Pascal.
Trey, yeah, another voting question. Florida coach Dan Mullen last week was actually outspoken about not liking the NCAA establishing tomorrow as a day off from everything because he talked about early voting and how everybody had opportunities to vote early. And he was talking about Tuesday being the big practice day for the Florida-Georgia game. Jeremy talked a little while ago about it didn't really affect y'all because y'all had the open date and y'all could come in and get going Sunday. But what do you think about that? Do you think the NCAA should have mandated the date, or do you think if this had been a normal week for you, would you be upset that you didn't have that Tuesday to practice?
I have a lot of respect for Coach Mullins. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, so I'm really not going to comment on that. I understand he's a football coach at a major SEC Division I college that has one of the biggest games of the season coming up. So I understand where he's upset with that. But is what it is at a certain point and degree. We're talking about people's rights just to go out and vote. It's a good thing that was instituted so that, every program can follow that. But once again, I respect his decision, totally, entitled to his own opinion on that subject matter as well. He's a head coach, I'm a player. What can I say?
Thanks, Trey.
Back to Brent Hubbs.
Trey, you mentioned to Patrick Brown that you had not specifically played the way that you wanted to play, and kind of a slow start a bit the first 5 games. What do you attribute that to? Is that because the preseason was so unusual? Is that COVID? What do you think has been a bit of the slow start for your expectations through the first half of the season?
I always have an adjusted schedule for practice anyways, but given COVID and all the stuff we had to deal with, it has been hard, not only on me but the whole team. For me, there's a certain standard that I want to play at. There's a certain way I want to play. There's a certain amount of times I want to get pancake blocks, finish someone through the block, be the most violent guy on the field. And to me, when I don't meet that standard, I'm not playing well. Now, not necessarily my grade from the games are bad or they're coming up bad, like I'm playing bad. No, not by any means. It's just my standard for myself. I'm not meeting the expectation.
All right. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you all.